Good afternoon. My name is Anubis Brown. Welcome. Today I will be talking to you about being an empath and the launch of my new website, QueenAnubis.com. QueenAnubis.com is a plethora of some products as well as courses I think you're going to really like. Having a psychic store has been a long life dream of mine. I have worked in a couple of stores and have learned so much about the symbols we all use to express our religious and spiritual preferences. As time passes, it becomes more clear to me how different things in a psychic store can help us to organize ourselves mentally so that we can function more easily. The small things in life that can cause blockages, and just as we organize ourselves for school or work, certain things can be used to psychologically organize ourselves, thought patterns, feelings, goals, and those things that can help us stay in the driver's seat of our own destiny. An example of that is candles. When it's really hot outside and I've been in traffic all day and I'm really frazzled because I'm an empath and I'm sensitive, and I like to come home and close the drapes and light some candles. Put on some jazz or some soothing music. That way I can get my mental state together so that I can continue to finish all the many things I still have to do and all the details. So again, check out my website, QueenAnubis.com. This leads me to my other subject, empaths. If you have seen any of the other videos on empaths, they describe empaths as incredibly feeling people who are extremely sensitive to the thoughts, desires, and feelings of others. They often take on these emotions as their own. Due to their nurturing dispositions, they are highly prone to be sought after by narcissistic people, and people in general. Although empaths may share the same traits, they differ in race, education, socioeconomic background, causing or casting a different perception or light on their paradigm or mental way of looking at things, thus affecting the fullness to which they can express themselves. In a perfect world, an empath's gift would allow him or her to heal, nurture, and guide others to help them find their own truths by taking on the feelings of that individual and thus being able to walk in that person's shoes. Unfortunately, this is not a perfect world. And instead of allowing an empath to do what is natural, an empath often is sought after and exploited, drained, and therefore both people lack the ability to be in sync with the universe. The scariest part of being an empath for me was not knowing that I was one. So half of me was always together, intelligent, had a great life. But the other half of me was kind of scattered and really didn't understand that what I was feeling most of the time wasn't me, but was somebody else. And I was just sensitive to what they were going through, leaving half of me to be destructive, awkward, exposed, and unbalanced. Although during the time I was a member of a metaphysical institution, this sort of phenomenon, including telepathy, was accepted in practice, however, it was not discussed, at least to my knowledge. My father, who was a minister, said, and I am paraphrasing, that oftentimes you would hear thoughts that are not your own. Of course, people hear that and say, oh, that's crazy people. He spoke to a general audience and did not reference a type of person. However, if a person admittedly claims to experience these type of phenomenons, they are labeled crazy. Deepak Chopra, in The Journey to the Boundless, describes the thought process and all the things that affect this cycle. This could be environment, nutrition, exercise, health, friends, and family. Why is it that in a stereotypical world, whites listen to rock and roll and blacks listen to R&B? Now, I said stereotypical because hip-hop has a very large range of different kinds of people. But in order to get my point across, I'm giving you that example. This is because a lot of the things we do are a result of patterns. Just as our universe is the result of an archetype pattern, which is kind of sidetracking, we ourselves are products of different patterns. Deepak Chopra said that as the patterns begin to form, then your consciousness will attract similar thoughts as to what you are already doing, whether it be positive or negative. That's why when someone says, you need to change, your thinking is off. You need to change your thinking. It lacks power, because without the proper information, it's just a blanket statement. Why do you think criminals repeat their offenses? How are you going to put someone on probation and put them in their same neighborhood with the same homies and say, stay out of trouble? In conclusion, growing up in a religious circle or environment challenged my ability to cope with supernatural experiences taking place, as well as being an empath, because I didn't have anywhere to access the information for the things that I was going through. The institution that I attended to had a third aim, and it was to investigate the unexplained spirit law, or so-called law of nature, and the powers latent in man, referencing scriptures 8:1-4, John 1-9. So it's basically saying that all things lead to Christ, which I don't have a problem with. I love the Beatitudes. I love the things that he said. But when I went back to reference this, I was disappointed because it didn't help me with the things that I was going through that nobody else was talking about. And it wasn't until, a few years back that the word empath started getting a lot of attention, and people started talking about the different traits that people have. But like I said, the scripture bear witness to Christ. But when I look at this, I look at not just the path of Christ, but whatever religion you may be, whether it be Muslim, Buddhist, Catholic, whatever. There's thousands and thousands of religions. It's about changing your consciousness. And that was a very used word in the 70s. And so when you bring it up, people go, oh yeah, consciousness, the 70s, whatever. But really that's what it boils down to. And being aware. An empath, whether received or not, can be used as a guide for others according to the light of understanding. So again, whatever you call it, Allah, Buddha, Yahweh, if you find an empath and they're blessed enough to be able to be comfortable with their gift, that's a great way to have somebody understand where you're coming from so that you can get help without being judged. So hopefully the goal is to a change of consciousness, eliminating lip service, and healing your fellow man if you are able. Again, this may be another corny expression, but it goes back to utilizing the blessings that the universe has given us as opposed to going against it because we lack understanding or because we are arrogant. When I speak of blessings, I'm referring to recognizing the love within yourself. So that regardless of what happens when the world, family, or friends let you down, you have the spirit of the Creator to reside with you. As for me, this is an ongoing change. So again, I'd like to thank you for listening to my video. Please remember to check out my online psychic store, queenanubis.com, and I look forward to talking to you again.